Welcome to the Nakia Franklin Show, where we learn and grow from those who have done the work and manifest phenomenal success in business and in life. So today I have Reyes Flores, an expert transforming the world of small business lending. Mr. Reyes is going to share a little about himself, the types of services his business offers, in a moment of truth that was a breakthrough for him in being successful and being a successful entrepreneur. So once again, Mr. Reyes, thank you so much for being on the show, and I am so looking forward to what it is that you have to offer our listeners. And I truly appreciate you taking out the time of your schedule to be with me today.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here.
Awesome. So, Mr. Reyes, and do you prefer if I call you Reyes or Flores, or prefer in this conversation?
Reyes is good enough for me.
Awesome. Okay. Please share a little bit about yourself and the services you offer and what is having your business thrive, nearly surviving.
So the core business that we deal with is helping people navigate through the business lending process. We offer a variety of different products, from SBA loans, startup crowdfunding capital, regular loans, hard money loans, real estate loans. Through the network of relationships that we've developed, we can cover a wide swath of different services. So that's what we offer.
Okay. Have you been doing this business personally?
Outside of previous employments, this will be a good 6 years out on my own. Prior to this, I was a vice president at a large bank, and I was over their small business division. I covered 5 branches. So I learned a lot from my customers.
Okay, awesome. So what made you decide to get into this? What was that moment that stood out for you that made you realize that this was something that you could be good in and you can provide a service, a much-needed service for the community?
So, not to speak badly about the way banks train you, but the banks don't train you to help people. The banks end up telling you who they want to deal with and to what capacity. Being out and networking and being in touch with the community and being on the chambers and just a lot of different community efforts, you realize there's a big disconnect. I did. And that big disconnect is that there's a lot of people that need education on how to speak to the banks regarding what kind of money they need to use and how to be prepared so that they had increased their opportunity or the odds of them getting that money. And when my management told me that I wasn't there to help the community, then I let my management know that I am going to be there to help my community. And that was a big turning point for me. I figured the knowledge I had needed to be shared. And the more I can share it with people, the better their lives are going to be, just because they'll be able to achieve their goals that much more quickly.
Wow. So I want to tell you, hey, I know what the idea is or the ideology or how people perceive us in the world. We're here for you, but in reality, it's not about the people.
No.
What type of impact did that have? I mean, help me see that, because I know that took me aback.
So a bank, in this regard, is a business. It's a business just like any other business. They are there to make more money, and they are there refining their procedures to ensure that they're targeting the appropriate personnel.
I apologize. I had some noise on my end, so can you resort what you were just saying? I missed the first part. I just heard you say the bank.
Right. So the bank is a business. They are there to make money. They are there to protect their assets. They're there to minimize the risks. It's not what is fed to us through marketing, that the banks are helpful. And to some degree, some people think the bank is an extension of the government. They are required to lend. And that's not a true statement. They're required to offer their services. They're required to take applications, but there is no requirement to lend. And as long as somebody approaching the bank doesn't really understand that, the most common feedback I get is, well, I mean, the bank's supposed to help me. And I'm like, well, that's a misnomer. The bank is there to offer you their services, but you need to learn how to approach them. You need to learn how to speak through writing business plans and the such, how to reduce their risk associated in the relationship they're going to have with you. And most people just don't understand that because they think that the bank is there to help them.
Wow. That is so true. That is so true. And that is the common perception amongst people in, a lot of backgrounds.
Yes.
And it's about educating the people to really be able to make a difference and know what you're walking into, because that in itself, what you just shared, would prevent so many disappointments in people from going left instead of going right, or trying again and building upon instead of breaking down, giving up, and saying, hey, it wasn't meant to be. And it's because of the structure. So that is powerful. What is the name of your company?
I work with TD Funding Solutions, and it's a conglomeration of tdfundings.com.
I'm sorry, are you saying G as in George or T as in Tom?
Tom.
Okay.
David Fundings.com.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just trying to hear clearly because I'm not seeing you right now. So, okay, thank you. I just want to make sure we are all on the same page. Okay, go ahead.
So TD Funding is a conglomeration. We are all independent. We all bring expertise, and together we make a very strong team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. And overall, what is the number of years of experience that you have together?
With that group, we're pushing 50 years. If you add everybody's years up, 50, 60 years.
Wow. That's awesome. So that's a lot of experience that you can pull from, a lot of knowledge you can pull from. And if there's an area that someone else is stronger in and you're not as strong in, you can really pull it and pull from them. And it's essentially like a one-stop shop.
That is the key. Honesty, integrity, transparency. If you come to us, you're going to know exactly where you stand. We're going to help you try to fill any holes that are in your plan and get you to the right funding group.
Wonderful. Where are you located exactly for our listeners to know? And how is there a niche market or a you're seeking?
We're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We service the country, though. We're nationwide. The niche is really those individuals that have gone to a bank and have been told no. Outside the banking lending structure, it is a whole different world. And there's a lot of different ways to make a deal happen, leveraging different resources that we have, and getting you in front of the right lender.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much. I want to pull out as much as I can. And I'm going to move to the next question in just a second. But as far as this, is concerned, like knowing you and the services you offer, is there one nugget that you want people to know or be aware of at this particular moment, or in your background, or anything concerning this particular topic?
You're going to get straightforward information. After you leave a conversation with our group, myself, you'll understand how to look at a request for funding from the perspective of the lender. You'll understand how to reduce the risk exposure for the lender, because that really is what ends up making the loan. Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to approach that area more effectively. You'll get the funding that you need for your plan. If not, we'll put a plan in place to restructure what you have and get you in front of the right people. That's what you get with us.
Thank you so very much. That is on point and awesome. So now let's talk about the real world of entrepreneurship, okay? So we did a survey and we proposed the question, what would you ask someone who has produced millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars in business? So, Reyes, here's the first question. When it comes to knowing who to trust and who you can work with, what has been your biggest lesson?
Be careful of that with the forked tongue. Everybody has to win in a relationship. And that's every relationship, not just business. Be careful when people are painting a really, really pretty picture, because most often than not, that is moving the benefits to their direction more than you. The clear statements from individuals organized to talk about your goals and their goals together as a unity is key. Anybody that's been out in the business world, starting their company or making their company work, understands that the reality is if it sounds too good to be true, just step away. There's always work involved in getting to where you need to go.
Right. Wow. Okay. I'm just soaking this in. I really want people to get that. If they're not talking about both your goals and their goals and how to mesh the company or mesh the deal or mesh the project, walk away. Mm-hmm. And I know walking away can be difficult for some people. You know how you have not plugging anything, but you have the Shark Tank, right? And yes. People are so excited, and people are hungry, and people are emotional, right? This is their baby. This is their project, or this is something they've been working on for so long, or their big dream. And people will offer you things, or people will have this conversation with you, and they can play on your emotions, or you are so inexperienced or eager, excited, that you fall prey or victim to something that you didn't expect. Can you elaborate or go a little further on that?
So you always have to hear feedback and listen very clearly to feedback provided to you along your journey. Let's take the invention. If you come up with an invention, you cannot be so blinded by your own wanting to succeed that you not hear somebody on the side telling you, you know what, that's a really far stretch. You need to take that feedback and make modifications to your plan and incorporate what people are telling you. Life is a feedback system. We need to be open to feedback so that we can mesh better with life. And it's not that they're stopping you from doing what you want. They're just giving you a different perspective. And as long as we accept those perspectives and really incorporate what they're trying to tell us, then in the end, the plan is going to be more complete and you're going to be more fruitful in your efforts.
Thank you. And that's where the trust come in your business, being honest, having that integrity and that transparency, and building that relationship for you and your clientele to have trust with one another, as well as trusting the people that are giving them the feedback and not taking it so personal, not allowing themselves to feel like it's a personal attack on them. It's just, I've been through it. I've seen it. I know what works and what doesn't work. I you recommendations or share something with you, and it's up to you to take it or not take it. But like you're saying, listen to the feedback.
Very well put.
So looking at, there's a lot of products in the world, yes. And now with the COVID-19, there's even more products in the world, right? But there's also things that are coming out of this epidemic that had not been considered before or been considered, but people are now employed or furloughed or afraid or seeing an opportunity present itself, are now coming out with so many different services. How can you help people within the service industry, and what guidance or recommendations do you have for them? Because products, a lot of people have resources on the product end, but on the service end, it's a little bit more difficult when you're trying to get support or lending or funding for the creation of that baby and birthing it, bringing it to existence.
When you're asking for money, you need to make sure that you are extremely detailed on how that money is going to be applied and what your return on investment is going to be. You need to be clear with yourself and understand the amount of time you're going to be putting into whatever work or service that you're wanting to do, ensuring that you're going to get the proper rate of return. Let's use a van as an example, a delivery van, simple statement. You need to make sure that you understand the amount of hours you're going to be in that van, the amount of communication you can have with others for prospecting, the maintenance, the gas, the insurance, what happens if that van goes down. The last thing you want to do is get a loan that doesn't help you cover enough of your expenses to where just you're working paycheck to paycheck. Whether it's your own company or a W-2 company, if you're working paycheck to paycheck, you don't allow yourself time to be creative, to look at the things that you're doing, make modifications, and put new strategies in place without having a severe amount of stress because money's not coming in. Don't undershoot the number that you ask for. Just understand that you need to allocate the funds accordingly.
Okay. Is there a particular, there's somewhere, or is there a nugget that you can leave with the audience that allows them to know, for someone who's really green in the business, where should they start? Should they develop their foundation, or where should they start?
So, mimicking somebody is the greatest form of flattery. Find a company that is doing extremely well in the arena that you want to go into. Study them. Learn from what they've already put in place. Absorb the information they paid for, because they've paid for a lot of information to get where they're at. And then modify it to what you want. If you try to recreate the wheel, it's just not going to work as easy. I always use Starbucks as an example. Starbucks, a lot of demographic background data collection happens before they put any store in any location. So if you hear that correctly, that means that they have already put in a lot of money and effort to find out demographics, volume, and those resources are important. So the same demographics, the same volume, traffic patterns would apply to a building that's right next to it.
Exactly.
So if you want to absorb what the knowledge that they've already put in place, know that if you have a building next to Starbucks, you're going to have huge amount of exposure to individuals that have money to spend and aren't afraid to go out there and spend a little extra. So even if that place costs you $4,000, $5,000, as opposed to 2,000, you're going to make that money back just through osmosis exposure. That's an example I can give you on learning from somebody else. If not, you're going to have to go do your own studies. You're going to have to go figure out yourself who lives in this area and so forth. So I don't have that much money. I don't have that many employees. That company does. So it would be the same. Yeah, it would be the same for any other business. If you see somebody that's doing something great and they're doing well, if you can get information on that company, by all means. If not, be bold enough and go talk to the owner. Get some information from them. This world's big enough. Successful people will always share information with you.
You know, this is so rich. So rich. And when it comes to knowing who to trust and who you can work with, and the biggest lesson has been, I think that what you just shared is so rich for anyone who has an ear and who is open to really taking in and sort of meditating on what it is that you just shared. That is priceless. So let's talk about, thank you. I just definitely want to say that. So let's get to our next question. Okay, so would you rather have 10 good marketers or 10 good salespeople? 10 good marketers or 10 good salespeople? So this is another question, and I can take you one by one if you want to, but I'll just throw them all out there and I'll, bring it back up. But the first question is, would you rather have 10 good marketers or 10 good salespeople? And when it's time to create a sales team, instead of doing it myself, versus doing it myself? And then, can someone else be the best salesperson for my business? So we'll just go with the first part of the question: 10 good marketers versus 10 people.
So, unless you have an internet-based transaction, meaning when I click on something, I'm not talking to anybody, and it's a product-oriented click, I buy, and it gets delivered. Every other interaction is between a person and somebody. So I would rather have 10 salespeople out there because they are actually talking to somebody that's going to make the decision. From a marketing perspective, you can brand all you want. You can market all you want. Until somebody talks to somebody at your company, you're not making a sale.
Okay. That was the answer. Okay. Now, the second question, when is it time to create a sales team instead of doing it myself?
I'm going to give you personal experience here.
Okay.
I know, God bless you. I know I'm good at what I do just through experience, not patting myself on the back or anything. I know a lot of information, but I'm only one person. And this realization came through me a few years ago. I can only knock on so many doors in one day. That means I can only get so many applications in one day. Mm-hmm. If I depend on one application to get funded, my success rate is not going to be high. So when I figured out that having multiple means by sharing knowledge and process, then I expand the ability to touch more people. I increase my success rate if I get 50 leads in a month versus 10. Large companies have the advantage to be able to think this way, meaning large number of clients, and they do it well and they succeed most of the time, versus when it's an entrepreneur, an individual, we tend to limit ourselves to our own capacity. We need to expand the ability for us to reach different clients. And the quickest and simplest way to do that is to have 50 of you out there working. So when you get to that point, you will see a huge jump in your success.
Got it. Makes perfect sense. Absolutely. So can someone else be the best salesperson for my business? That's one of the other questions.
Yes. Yes, you definitely have the core. You have a good understanding. And even if you're an all-star, there's always somebody better. So as long as that person believes in the product and service that they represent, there's no reason why they can't knock it out of the ballpark like you do. And if you have more of those than just one, now you have great representation of your company.
Absolutely. And that, I always go back and tie that back into trust, because you, regardless, you can hire 20 different people, but in order for you to be, you have to really be able to trust them, because you're going to be sharing your knowledge, your experience, and you're making many use so they can go out there and duplicate what it is that you do and bring back those sales and bring back the products or what it is being sought out in order for that company to be successful. Excuse me. So what in this particular area would you like to leave and share with us that you feel would be significant or beneficial to them so much? And in each of these topics, everything that we've discussed from the very beginning of Hello, you have put out there. And these are not just nuggets. These are diamonds in a rough. And I just know that even for had I known some of these things, or had I been more experienced in these areas, or more or well versed in these areas, it would have made a difference for me, because is one thing, but it's something different when you have someone so full of knowledge and so willing to share, because it does make a difference. This is not just a job that you do. To me, it's a passion. It's your heart. It's a way to give back. It's so transformational. So what would you like to leave with our listeners and audience concerning this segment?
Number one is believe in yourself. Believing in yourself and having confidence in what you're doing doesn't mean that you don't allow other people to help you. Everything takes team effort. Surround yourself with good people. Get them involved with what you're doing. Have them take ownership in the same processes that you have. Teach them to run their own small business. You will be successful. If you try to do it on your own, you're going to lose hair. You're going to lose sleep. And it's just not going to be fun.
Right. I lost you. I lost you. There was a buzzing sound that came through. Okay, repeat. Oh, God. That was so awesome and rich. So I heard the belief in yourself and what you do. Be willing to listen to others, develop a team, your own.
Teach them to be their own, right. Teach them to be their own owners of their business. I don't care where you work. If somebody pays you a W-2 or you're out there on your own, if you look at what you do as your own business, then you're going to put in more effort into your work because it represents you. You're going to be more passionate about what you do because it's not about somebody telling you to do something. It's about you wanting to do it. And if you can capture that and help others grow within themselves while they're helping you grow, everybody's going to benefit. Everybody's going to win. Everybody's going to be a better person in the end. Surround yourself with those individuals and you'll be successful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move forward. So our final question from the survey is, what 3 pitfalls you have seen people fall into when it comes to doing the work for having a successful business?
Pitfalls, number 1, is you can't do it all yourself. If you try to cut corners. In the end, you're cutting your own plan down. Don't be afraid to spend money. Surround yourself with people that you need and really expose yourself to the world through your business. Go out there and fail. Learn from your failings. Keep going out there and fail some more. Every single step along the way, you're growing. Don't look at it as a failure as a negative. Look at it as a positive. It exposed something in your plan that wasn't well done. Gives you the opportunity to go back and rewrite it and put a new game plan in place.
Awesome. Wow. Is there anything you want to share? And it can be from this, or it can be from your experiences or an example, anything.
We all have doubts, and those are okay. In the world of business, you're going to get told no a lot. People are going to look at you and say that idea is not a good one. Listen to them, but be steadfast in your approach. Really understand that that's only their opinion, and opinions do matter, but they're looking at it from their vantage point, and they're not necessarily looking at it from your vantage point. Make sure that you're structured in your approach to any plan that you have. Do not skip the business plan. The business plan is not for the bank. It's not for the lender. The business plan is for you to get everything in your head out on paper. Once you put it out on paper, it's so much easier to go back and analyze the information you put down, add stuff, delete stuff, make it better. Without a business plan, you don't have the structure that you're looking for, because our mental capacity has too many different things moving in our heads. But if you put it on paper and you really blow it up, don't take forever on it, but understand what the different parts of are the business that you're going to go into. If you approach it that way, it's methodical, you will be successful. If you don't have a business plan in place, then you're probably going a lot on emotion. And not that emotion doesn't get us there, but we all know how we react when we're emotional. They're not always the best decisions that we make. So definitely believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself. Write what you have in your head down. Share it with trusted ones. Have them cut it up, and then read it again. And then work the plan and revisit it in 6 months. Revisit it every 6 months and modify the things that haven't worked, replace them with things that you know are working now. If you follow that model, there is no way you will not be successful.
We call that wash, rinse, repeat.
I love it.
Oh, my God. Absolutely. Okay, this is awesome. This is so awesome. So, all right, we're getting close to the end of this, Reyes, and this has been so powerful. So how can our listeners learn more about and services? How can they reach you if you want more business and more listeners to, whoever, all over the world, to reach out to Reyes? How do they connect?
Well, I can give you 2 points of contact that I will always be able to read back to you at. Okay. I'll give you 3. So first, you can always send me an email at reyes@tdfundings.com. That's REYES @ T as in Tom, D as in dog, fundings with an S.com. You can reach me at my business cell, 972-464-6319. You can always visit the website that we have at tdfundings.com. The best interaction you're going to have is either through email or phone, because the information on the website is stagnant.
Okay. Awesome. So it was so refreshing having this conversation with you. With everything that's been going on, and people, I don't like saying lockdown because that's a jailhouse term. It's like so well versed in that area with and with my credentials, right? So it's critical, and it's so wonderful to have this conversation with a professional, with a business person, with someone where I relate to what you're saying, and I can have an intellectual conversation, business conversation, because sometimes with everything that's going on, there's not enough people mindset to have these conversations, and we need this. And with your honesty, your integrity, and your transparency, which are your words that came out of your mouth from the very beginning of this conversation, I believe has been lived out and been exposed in this conversation, honesty, integrity, and transparency. It is evident that you are a reliable source, and you are someone in your organization, your group, are people that are trustworthy enough to want to reach out to and want to, extend the hand and say, hey, even if you can just answer a few questions for me. And I feel like in these times and going forward, beyond what has happened in the past, people need more human beings like yourself that are experts in lending. And I really want to acknowledge you for what you're doing, for the time that you use in order to share your experiences and provide information for people that are hungry right now for anything that they can grasp onto the difference or help them have a level of relief and be able to grab hold of something and say, that was it. That was that moment that I needed. That was that statement. That was what I needed in order to move forward beyond here. So before we complete, I would like to know, is there anything else that you would like to share or anything else that you would like to leave our listeners? And you've done so much, but anything else that you would like to say before we complete this call?
Sure. Have fun in what you're doing. Enjoy the journey and don't stress so much. I think in the end, that's what we all want.
Thank you so much, Reyes, once again, Mr. Reyes Flores, for being on the Nakia Franklin Show. I am so honored, and I thank you, and I thank God and all of those that are going to share this content that is so rich. I am Nakia Franklin, and you have been listening to the Nakia Franklin Show. Until next time, peace, love, blessings, and keep your head up. We will see you soon. Come back and join us.